Hi guys, Dr. Lauren here from Vital Health Chiropractic in Lara, and today I want to talk a little bit about motor milestones, maybe developmental delay, and a little bit about what might be the cause of that. So if you're the parent of a young child in their first year or two of life and you have some concerns about their motor milestones and when they're reaching them, then stay tuned. This is just for you. Watching a baby grow and develop and hit their milestones and achievements in their first year of life is incredible. And what happens if some of those babies are not hitting those milestones when we would expect to see them? So some parents will go, well, they're just slow. They just do it in their own time. That's the way they are. And other parents, might be really anxious about it and really concerned and comparing themselves to some of the babies that are maybe hitting their milestones earlier than expected. And so the one thing to be mindful of with this is that there's no specific day on your child's timeline that they reach a milestone, but there's a window. So we like to see things progress in a certain order at a certain time frame. So often these things happen within a couple of months, not within a couple of days. So one baby starting to crawl at 6 months could be another baby's 8 months. Still within the 2-month window, still completely normal, but we could see how the parent at 8 months might be freaking out, going, oh my goodness, what's going on? So I want to rest your minds that there can be alterations and it can also be completely more normal. So what do you want to look out for when you are assessing your child's development and you are in mother's group and you're seeing all these other babies that are doing things and maybe your child's not? There are a few important leaps in that first 12 months, of which the very first is their ability to lay on their tummy and lift their head up. And we would expect to see a baby be able to do this at around that 8 to 10 week mark. So it might not be for very long, but they certainly would be able to lift their head up. Now from around that 12 to 14 week mark, you might even start them from there, seeing them rest on their arms a little bit. They might fatigue and drop their arms and head back down, but there should be a little bit of that time where they're doing that. Now when we get towards that 16 week or 4 month mark, this is where we're going to expect to start to see rolling. Now some babies psych you out a little bit and they might roll earlier in the game at about 3 months, and they do it once and then they don't do it again. And the reason that they do that is not because they're lazy and don't want to, they just were doing that a little bit earlier than we would expect. And so that's why you get the one off, and then they'll start to do it a bit more regularly from the 4 month mark. So it's around that time, which means that for some babies, it might be 3 and a bit months, 3.5 months. And for another baby, it might be 4.5 months. So we don't want you to panic about it, but just know that this is the first major milestone you're going to see in your child's development. The next one that we're going to be looking for is a unsupported sit. So a baby will be able to start to sit from around 6 months. Now the reason we don't like bumbo seats and those chairs at home is that they really confine and control the way the baby sits on a spine that's probably not designed for it yet if they're under that 6 month mark. And what we would like is them be able to move their arms and legs around as much as they can, because part of the way that they're wiring their brain and learning about their environment is through grabbing things, touching textures, feeling the carpet, feeling their bunny rug, feeling something touch their toe. It might be the corner of a chair, whatever it might be. This is where they're learning. So there's a reason that we avoid those bumbo seats certainly in those early months. So 6 months is around when they will start to sit. And that's because some of their, what we call propping reflexes, their side to side, where they'll tip over and they'll catch themselves with their hand, will come in around that 6 to 8 month mark. The next one just after that is the commencement of crawl. Now we might see this as a hop onto all fours and they rock their body forwards and backwards as they shift their weight from their hands to their knees to get ready for crawl. And this should be starting around that 6 to 8 month mark. Yeah. So for the most part, babies would be crawling around that 8 month mark tops. Now, if we're seeing babies get to 10 months and they're not crawling, this is what we would consider a minor delay. Now, it's nothing to be panic stationed about at this point. Certainly understanding that what is the cause of this? Why is this nervous system not integrating things as smoothly for this baby to get this milestone when we know it should be happening around the 6 to 8 month mark? So there are some things that you can do at home to support that and ensure that their nervous system is regulating properly. Because from around 10 months is when we're going to see babies want to pull themselves up onto furniture and stand on their feet more. So if we miss the crawling phase altogether in that 6 to 8 month mark, and they get to 10 months and want to stand, that's when we see them bypass it. And some parents would feel that this is quite advanced of their child, and I certainly in no way want to criticize their parents because it is a bit advanced, but also there is such an importance of getting a good cross crawl pattern in that builds an integration between the left and the right brains, that in those babies that skip crawling, it means we need to take them back and we need to teach them how to crawl so they get that nice interconnection between the two brain hemispheres. So then you see the 10 month mark is the standing, and then from around 12 to 13 months, we would expect to see a child commencing to walk. Taking one step at that time would be phenomenal. So now you've got it. These are our top milestones in that first year of life. And there are things that we can monitor, assess, and look out for that might impede the progression of these motor milestones in an order that we would expect. So if you have some concerns about where your child is, or just some questions about how you can help, then please call the number at the bottom of the screen and we would love to chat further and help you and your baby with its development. Bye guys.